Tempe may have given the NHL a hard no in building the Coyotes' new stadium. However, they've been saying yes to a lot of new projects. There's quite a bit coming to Tempe. And today we're going to actually review the new stuff that is coming here. We're going to talk about constructions, Tempe's effort to create a better vibe in the downtown area, homes, and of course, food and restaurants. I am Courtney, your local Phoenix realtor. And if you aren't familiar with my channel, we talk about a lot of things that are going on in the Phoenix metro area. And one of the big projects we have going on right now is the Refresh Tempe effort. This is actually a $20 million project. And the goal of this project is really to refresh and revive downtown Tempe. Honestly, they haven't really done anything to update downtown Tempe since the 80s, so it's time. So the changes they're hoping to implement includes adding a lot of public art. They're also hoping to put more furniture and park benches in a lot of the public areas. They're also planning on adding a lot of festoon lighting just to create a little bit more ambiance. Sidewalks they're proposing on changing as well, just to make it a little more aesthetically pleasing. They are also hoping to add a lot more trees and landscaping. And the goal of the landscaping is to have sustainable landscaping. You know, trees that are going to provide great shade, but also low water use. So the goal really is to keep the classic vibe of downtown Tempe, but just a little bit better. The construction should start the beginning of next year and hopefully be completed by the end of 2024. Now, Tempe has another huge project that will be right on Tempe Town Lake. And this project, there was some debate about it in the beginning of the year. This is called South Pier. So this project actually has 7 different phases. They're working on phase 1 right now, but the goal is actually to have over 18 buildings. And the developers are really hoping that the appearance of these buildings are going to be very trophy-like and really just liven the Tempe Town Lake area even more. So this entire area of South Pier, it's going to be a mixed use area. We're going to have apartments and condos. Some of the apartments will be smaller, like studio apartments, and then we'll even have condos that are, 3 bedrooms. And then a lot of the ground level, they're hoping to have like a lot of different restaurants and retail, outdoor dining, parks. There'll be some office spaces as well. But one of the coolest parts about their plan for phase 1 is they're actually planning on building a pier, and off of the pier, they're going to have a Ferris wheel. In the center of the community, they're also planning on having a 2-acre green space. They're going to call it the Central Green. So as I mentioned before, initially there was some opposition to the project, but they did break ground for phase 1 and they have secured financing. In this phase 1, it should be completed in 2026. So this is going to be a long project, a long venture, but it will be interesting. I'm sure in the news, we'll see more and more details regarding South Pier. So a lot of the apartments in phase 1, they will be rentals. A lot of people have asked me about new construction for homes in Tempe, and unfortunately, there's not really that many options. You can find some beautifully, completely remodeled homes. However, if you're looking for new construction, you're gonna have better options the further on the outskirts of Phoenix Metro you go. So like in the East Valley, I would definitely consider areas like Southeast Mesa, Southeast Gilbert, and then Queen Creek, Santan Valley. As far as jobs in Tempe, Tempe is becoming more and more known as the tech hub, and Move Technologies actually opened here last June. We really are starting to fulfill our nickname as the Silicon Desert. A lot of tech companies have moved here in the past handful of years. I mean, it's way cheaper to own a business here than in California. So Move is actually a marketplace for used semiconductor equipment, and it actually has opened hundreds of jobs in Tempe. So now we're going to talk about road construction, and this is usually a topic that, irritates people more than excites people, but I'm telling you, this is actually a project I really think is perfect for Tempe. And this is the Alameda Project. And the goal of this project really is to improve safety and access for pedestrians and cyclists in Tempe. So on Alameda, this is a main road that connects Phoenix to Tempe. This is actually quite a wide road, but the bike lanes are pretty narrow. So what they're trying to do is actually narrow the car lanes, widen the bike lanes, have a buffer zone, and hopefully this will prompt drivers to go a little bit slower, and then also just give a little bit more space between the pedestrians, the bikers, and then the cars driving on this road. And the reason I'm excited about this is, you guys, Phoenix is beautiful 8-9 months of the year, and it's perfect to commute via bike. Unfortunately, the roads, I mean, we have bike lanes, but I'm gonna be honest, I've been in the bike lanes and it feels a little bit uncomfortable just because you have cars driving so close to you, going pretty fast, and there's not much of a buffer zone. So I'm really hoping not just Tempe, but a lot of other suburban areas kind of follow this pattern of what Alameda Project is doing, just to make it more accessible for people that are biking or pedestrians. But let's talk about my favorite topic, which is restaurants and food. If you live in Tempe, you probably have heard a lot of the hype, but Voodoo Donuts has just opened right outside of ASU campus. So if you don't know what Voodoo Donuts are, it is based out of Portland, Oregon. They're just fun, creative donuts. There was a lot of hype of Voodoo Donuts opening in Tempe, but I'm gonna be honest, the reviews were a little bit underwhelming. So personally, I think what happened was they had an influx of people come the first couple days they were open, and it sounds like they were maybe understaffed and some people got a little agitated waiting in line. I have a feeling in a few weeks, once they, iron out some of the kinks that comes with starting a new business, I think it's gonna be a good place and still worth checking out. And it's actually open till 3 a.m. So if you have those late night munchies, might be a great place. Another place that people are super excited about opening, this is actually opening in the southeast part of Tempe, but this is White Castle. So they were originally supposed to open this past spring, but there were some delays. So hopefully the plan is for them to open up this fall. Now, White Castle is one of those places, I feel like it almost has a cult following. There's die-hard fans of White Castle. So a lot of people are really stoked about it coming to Tempe, particularly after Scottsdale's White Castle had like crazy success a few years ago when they opened. Now, in other big restaurant news, Fox Concept actually announced that they're opening or planning to open 3 new restaurants in the Novus Innovation Center. Now, this is a new development right next to ASU campus. It is going to be a mixed-use district, so there's going to be offices, a hotel, park. They're hoping to have a lot of restaurants and outdoor dining on the base of a lot of these buildings as well. So they're calling this an entertainment district, and they're having like a Main Street area, and that's where these 3 Fox Concepts restaurants will be anchored. If you're unfamiliar with Fox Concept restaurants, it was founded by Sam Fox, and really the most prominent restaurateur in Phoenix metro area. In 2019, they actually sold Fox Concepts to the Cheesecake Factory. In my opinion, the Fox Concept restaurants are much better than the Cheesecake Factory restaurants. The food and ambiance are just better. So the restaurants they're planning on having include Blanco Taco, which is a Sonoran-inspired restaurant. They're gonna have North Italia, which is Italian-inspired, and then Flower Child. So Flower Child really is all about healthy, fresh ingredients. I'm gonna be honest, it might be my favorite Fox Concept restaurant, so I'm very excited that this is coming to Tempe. They are planning on opening these restaurants and having them completed the second half of 2024. So we do still have a little bit of time before they're open. As far as locally owned restaurants or restaurants that have been open for a little bit, there's 2 places I would recommend checking out. The first one is Chic Chef 77 Bistro and Wine Bar. This is actually the very first Black-owned wine bar in Arizona. But if you are a beer drinker, a place I would check out, this place has been open for a little bit, but it's 100 Mile Brewing. Overall, Tempe really is a diverse city in itself. There's so many different sub-communities and areas. There is something for everyone in Tempe. So if you want to learn more about Tempe, I do break it down in this video, just talking about geographically how some of the sub-communities do vary. Now, again, thank you so much for your time. If you have found any of this helpful or informative, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you.